sweet dear magical friends. Willkommen to your weekly horoscope and Tarotscope with me, Natalie, spelled Natalee, as we open up the energies of your week ahead using the astrology and the tarot. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background. You're coming into your Monday hot off of a full moon in heart-centered Leo Sunday morning. And this full moon had that T-square signature to Uranus and Taurus. So over the weekend, there could have absolutely been a culmination, some big news, big announcements, big pivots, and shocks in terms of, the feeling nature. And, this could have even broken up some stagnant energies, specifically in groups or like tribal situations with that Saturn and the Sun both being in Aquarius. And whenever the Sun opposes the Moon, that is our full moon moment of every month. So, there's definitely like quick breaking aparts and quick coming togethers. So, as we come into Monday, we do have more of that fullness playing out. So the full moon, you're actually, some of you are going to see this playing out Monday, Tuesday, and into the first half of Wednesday. Listen, this is a reap what we've sown energy, and whatever we do have of that, whatever the coming days continues to show us, we make the best of it and we move forward on that. So this, the T-square to Uranus is sort of, destabilizing. It's sort of different, and you could have even felt that leading into the weekend, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday as well. And, like I said, it's going to continue to play out for the next couple of days in the beginning of the week. And that is going to, like I said, this is a harvest time. It's going to show you what you're going to bring forward. I'm calling this week breaking new ground, and what you need to shed and let go of and get rid of that doesn't have a place in the future, in your future. So it's a really important time. And as we come into Monday, you're still getting the fullness. You're still seeing, what life is showing you about yourself, about your situations, about your circumstances, your partnerships, your personal relationships, your money, your work situation, your health issues, your mental health, your worldview, your communication, like all of these things are coming to a head. And, there's a lot of different areas of life being ping-ponged. There's a couple of different underlining signatures of this full moon. So, it could be like a lot of different areas of life kind of pulling on you, or a lot of different areas being kind of activated at the same time. So I'm calling Monday all about respect, because this day, Monday, we're starting the day pretty much on a void moon. The moon is going to make this opposition to Saturn before going void. And whenever that happens, first of all, it's going to be really hard to get going in the morning. So, you may it may just be very difficult to get up, and it's going to feel crunchy. We're just not going to want to get up really early. I'm filming this on Sunday, and I just woke up at 6:00 a.m. on the dot. And that's a full moon for you. Like, it's just a little bit more like restless sleeping and that kind of thing. So I just kind of want to get this kind of perfect here. There we go. That opposition, we have Monday, 5:44 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, that's the last aspect that the moon's going to make before going void. And for me, the way I use the astrology is that energy is going to stick. It's going to carry over through the entire void period until, when is it? It's going to be about 1:15 p.m. in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time. So this energy, we're in the full moon energy. So it's basically like a full moon opposing Saturn. So there's so much that's going to be like revealed, and that you're just going to have to look at in terms of harvest time. So the opposition to Saturn says that it's going to be sober and mature and realistic, and there may even be a sort of like checked, like you may feel checked, or someone may check you, or you may have to check someone. Here's the thing. It's the time to be sober and mature and serious. So if you have to check someone, do so gently. You have Mercury and Capricorn sextiling Pisces on this day as well. So it can be done softly and gently and compassionately. If you're being checked by someone, hopefully they do it softly and gently. And even if they don't, you'll be able, if you try, you'll be able to see the higher perspective and see and get like the gist of what they're saying without kind of going off the deep end with it and getting wrapped up in like victim mentality or anything. You should be able to, you know, take it soberly and be very understanding of what that other side is saying. Now, what I don't like about this is that it will feel like we have to choke down our individuality. I've been watching this transit for kind of a while. Whenever the moon, since Saturn's been in Aquarius, whenever the moon goes through Leo once a month and opposes that Saturn in Aquarius, I've been paying attention. And so when this happens, it makes us feel like we have to stifle our individuality in some way, shape, or form. And it's really difficult because, you know, for instance, if you are part, let's say, of like a marginalized group of people, you feel that like you have many more instances in your life that you relate to when you just have to choke down what you really want to say. And you just have to, because you don't have the power. You have to, you know, it's someone else that is just on the soapbox, or they are just saying all these things, and you don't have the power, you don't have the leverage to advocate for yourself. You just, it's like, it's a very tight feeling. And being a member of like two marginalized groups, you know, being a woman of color, it just feels absolutely terrible. And, you know, so there may be a situation or circumstance that makes you feel that way, where you just can't say something or you just can't express yourself. And it could be because the authority has some kind of, it depends on if you're in a good environment or not. It depends if you have a leader around you that you can trust. If that's the case, they'll be able to talk to you about something in a very kind and gentle way. And if not, they're going to be more preachy, and they're going to be more, you know, it's where they could even try and come across one way and try to gaslight you, where they just want to seem like they're being helpful. Okay, so, you know, it could be, well, you know, I shouldn't be the one to say this, but, and then they go off and say a bunch of things. And, you know, it's like they shouldn't be the one saying that, but then they go ahead and say it, but they kind of want to be able to be perceived a certain way as being inclusive, but not letting anyone speak. I hope that makes sense. So, you know, that's gonna, like I said, that's gonna linger. And, you know, it's just for anyone else out there, you know, if you are gay or trans, or if you are a minority, or if there's like if you're disabled, if there's any kind of thing like that, and you're having to deal with like a crunchy situation, just know that it's a transit. It will pass. It won't last forever. It won't last the whole day. But because it is a full moon opposing Saturn, it may feel extra painful. It may feel extra infuriating. You may be screaming inside. And, you know, it's really, the feeling of it is you want to stand up for yourself. You want to advocate for yourself, and you want to correct them. You want to correct the situation. You want to speak the truth. And, you know, depending on the kind of environment you're in, that other side, all of a sudden, they're going to start crying. They're going to put on the victim mask. And then all of a sudden, you know, they become the victim, and they're going to be infantilized by their peers and the existing corrupt power structure. And all of a sudden you will become the bad guy. You will become the perpetrator. And all of a sudden you're the aggressive one. You're the, you know, you're the angry Latina. Or, you know, in my case, you're the spicy, angry Latina, and I don't even speak Spanish, so you're wrong there too, you know. And all of a sudden you have an anger issue, and all of a sudden, you know, and then before you know it, if you act on this energy and kind of speak before you think, it could snowball into a situation that is awkward as ass for everyone, and that no one wants to be in. And so you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want to make a bad decision on a transit that's not going to last forever. And that is why those of us in these marginalized groups feel these choke our voice down. We have to just let the person say these stupid, completely ridiculous things that don't make any sense and just bear it. We just bear it, whether they're being misogynistic or racist or homophobic or what have you. And things are changing. But here's the thing: the change is happening where you are. So don't over conceptualize it and talk about these big concepts. No, it's the room that you're in, it's the family you're in, it's the tribe that you're in. And with just a few weeks left of Saturn in Aquarius, all of the tribes continue to have these tectonic plates underneath shifting, where tribes are breaking up, families are breaking up, companies, groups, friendships, couples, everyone's breaking up. Not everybody, but there's breakages that's being stress tested. All of that stuff is being stress tested. So the ones that can make the adjustments and be mature and sober and responsible and realistic, they'll come out stronger. But the faults and the cracks in the foundation, that pressure is going to crack it and they're going to snap. And that's when new, different groups are going to be able to come together. So, whatever this is for you guys, and like I said, if like in that example, if it snowballs into a really awkward situation and it's this thing that's just lingering in the air, and none of us want to be seen or remembered as like victim girl or something. That's kind of how I think of it in my mind. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to be victim girl, you know what I'm saying? So you have those of us that know what that feels like to be continuously like perpetrated against and victimized. You can be victimized without being a victim. We know what that feels like, and we have to be really great at discerning like when we're going to really advocate for ourselves and when we're going to choke it down. This is a moment, and because it's a full moon still, you will have to decide for yourself. And this is where the discernment comes in. You may be at a crossroads where you feel like, and because we're about to have Pluto at the 29th degree of Capricorn, we're really ready to burn all the bridges down. Not all of them, but like we're really ready to just like burn something to the ground and just start all over with something new and better. So it's like really on Monday morning, as you're kind of moving through that early morning, early afternoon, mid-afternoon, yeah, that sounds about right. Really just consider to yourself what's worth it, and what you figure out where your boundaries are in terms of respect. Okay, so you have to respect yourself, and then you have to respect everybody else. So you will have to be the best decision maker in terms of where are you letting something go too far, and where do you really need to draw the line somewhere. Okay, that's number one about Monday. Another thing about this energy, it's more so to do with like being checked. So like I said in last week's video, if you're being broken up with and on this energy, you have your dignity with you and you continue forward. If there's something going on though, if there's something being discussed, if there's a situation, reaching its critical mass, okay, and something's being really revealed at this time, or someone's feelings are being revealed, or someone's motives are being revealed, if there's something like that happening, then you've got to listen to that. It's either going to be an authority figure, or it's going to be like the righteousness of the situation. You have to really let that sink in. So honestly, I got ahead of this energy. I saw this energy and I got ahead of it. So Sunday I went into my email, and I'm really glad that I did, because I found an email that I missed, was a survey that I'm really happy that came through. It came in like a couple days ago, but I took it and I wanted to leave like a really good review. And so I sent that in, and I took care of business, and I made sure to show up to a situation with sobriety and maturity, and it was like on the full moon too, so it was like very perfect. And I was totally out of my element with something, and I just totally fumbled the ball. And it had nothing to do with screenwriting where I'm super strong and confident. It had nothing to do with any of this stuff where I'm super strong and confident. It was like a fish out of water. And I could see now what energy I was in and what energy was going on. It's always so clear after you make like a mistake. It's always such like a stupid mistake after you've done it, right? And you have some like time and distance. But you know, so piggybacking off of that, of like being checked, because some of you guys might be checked and you might need to be checked. So I'm speaking directly to you if you are you know, being corrected in your work, if you are being sort of like reprimanded, like personally, if there's something that's like, if there's like a social situation, or you know, if there's if you have like a talk with your spouse or something like that, you know, and someone's kind of checking you, you've got to take that, you've got to listen to that. And you know, for me, I was a little bit more, is this a little bit off? For me, I was a little bit more proactive, and I kind of reached out first about something. But I mean, I had the benefit of knowing about, you know, these transits and whatnot. So there we go. Sorry, I'm still here. Checking yourself, right? Being able to check yourself and then show up to the situation with responsibility, taking accountability and maturity. And listen, you need to feel bad. This is not like, some of this love and light stuff kind of doesn't sit right with me, because it looks like they just try to gloss over feeling bad and they don't appreciate it for what it is. And I practice everything I preach, and everything that I, you know, educate and teach has to do with results and being results based. So when you feel bad to learn the lesson. But once you learn the lesson and you make it right, then you don't have to feel bad anymore, and the lesson will go away. So it was something that, and this is so weird because this is another lesson that I failed. By the way, I failed this lesson. I failed this test, the second one. I failed one in January. That's when I tried to remote view and I couldn't, because I was so stressed out about, I was afraid about something. I was trying to get a hold of someone and I couldn't. I totally freaked out, and I tried to remote view and I kept getting pushed out. And the same thing with this is that, oh no, that wasn't January too. So there were two that I failed in January. That's great. But this other one, the one that I addressed a little bit more directly today on Sunday, or the day before when you're watching this, I was trying to meditate. Like I was trying to like make some big decisions, trying to be as calm as possible, trying to do the right thing. And only in retrospect could I see that, and I memorize like feelings, and this is how I help teach people when they're trying to remote view or they're trying to do something else, is through knowing what certain things feel like. And so that, what I spoke to, it was, like I said, very blindsiding to me personally, because I'm so great in a crisis. Like I'm amazing. I am so great. I am so dependable, and I am just like outstanding. Like I said, I was out of my element. It wasn't anything to do with screenwriting. It wasn't anything to do with psychic ability. And when I tried to use my psychic ability, I couldn't do it. Because I was out of my element. So not only was I out of my element, it was all of like, it touched on all of like my weaknesses and insecurities. So it was just like Metatron threw this whole curveball at me, and I was like, you do the best you can, but we're not going to make it every time. And listen, you guys, confidence does not come from doing everything perfect all the time. It comes from learning from your mistakes and making it right. What do I always say to you guys about The Nightmare Before Christmas, when Jack has been blown to smithereens and he's in the graveyard with Zero, and he's like, what have I done? And then, you know, he has it's called Jack's Lament, and he laments. So you need to feel bad. That's Jack feeling bad. And then he kind of like, there's still time to make things right, you know. And so then he goes and saves Christmas. You know, he took over someone's holiday. To him, he was just innocently kidnapping Sandy Claus, innocently, you know what I'm saying? But when he got it, he had to blow up. And then he realized, but once he realized, he made it right. And so if you're being checked by some authority, or if you're being checked by like a bigger situation, and you're like choking your opinion down, and you're, you know, just remember that. Remember Jack Skellington, because you know, if, like I said, if you're being reprimanded, if you're being corrected for something, just focus on feeling bad long enough to really be surgical in your self-analysis of what went wrong and why, and then making it right, and really try to bring that to fullness. Because this is a full moon in Leo, and if there's anything that we have license to do, it's to speak up. Okay? It's to speak up. And so when you do that from the heart space, it goes better. And when you do this a little bit gentler and kinder with more compassion and empathy, it goes better. Okay? And, you know, whether or not you can salvage a situation, you might not at this full moon. And, you know, we have to cope with that. We have to accept that. But you'll have done your part. You'll have learned the lesson, and you'll have been able to move forward. And, you know, since working with Metatron since November 2021, I'm starting to kind of get a little nervous, because that was 2 big tests in January that he gave me that I failed. And I only started working with Metatron to kind of take care of certain things, like specifically, and he's kind of getting into this whole other realm of stuff that he's teaching me, and I'm kind of nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous about it. By the way, I'm gonna have a Metatron meditation coming out. All of my, I totally forgot to say that. So all of my meditations are coming out soon, and I'm kind of planning it for the Mercury-Pluto conjunction this Friday, the 10th of February, but we'll see how that goes. But definitely before next Monday, the 13th, that is when we have our Archangel Alchemy. So you guys are gonna definitely have your Metatron meditation by then. Okay, so I'm just giving you a big prep, just in case, because I know some of you guys watch this like right when this video hits, and then some of you watch it a little bit later, a little bit after the fact. So just want to give you guys this really big heads up, because it's a full moon, so this might linger, and the decisions and how we respond to situations, because there's a lot of unexpected energy with this full moon, where the power that we have is not in our own volition of what we're doing and the actions we're taking. It's how we respond to the situation. It's how we respond to change and things happening. Okay, so, you know, there, like I said, there's a nice communicative aspect with Mercury sextiling Neptune and Pisces. So, you know, it can be soft, it can still be gentle. So just keep respect at the very forefront of your mind, of your attention on Monday, self-respect, and then respecting other people. Then in the middle of the day, or I guess afternoon, around 1:15 Pacific time, the moon will then enter Virgo, and the vibe changes. Okay, so it's like a rough, crunchy start to Monday, but afternoon, it changes. It gets a little bit softer. There may be a lot of details to organize very quickly, because circumstances are at critical mass. So it's like you had to like you had to be very serious, you know, the beginning of the day, going into the afternoon. And now, okay, I gave you like the very worst possible scenarios. I want to talk just really quick. I want to talk about like if things went like really great for you. So if things went really great for you, you'll know that if there was an authority figure that was helpful and inspiring and bringing people together and listening really well and delivering all of the corrections in a kind, graceful, compassionate way. Actually, with that Saturn in Aquarius, actually that's when I would love to have that white savior. Give me the savior. Where's the knight in shining armor that's gonna ride in and just save us from the misogyny and from like me having to, you know, it's just like, it's such a terrible feeling. And that's the moment when you're in the room when everyone just turns a blind eye. That's the moment where everyone just pretends like they didn't see something or hear something. And that's the quiet, is it not compliance? Maybe it is compliance. It's like they support each other. You know, when a wrong thing happens in the room and everyone just stays silent, you know. So it's like, if this goes well for you, then you have some kind of like, you know, knight in shining armor that is like inspiring and helpful and using their power judiciously and using their power to create good and to create an equal environment, and will hold space for everyone to speak their mind and not have anyone feel like trapped once they speak their mind, where they use it against them, or you know what I'm saying. So, you know, it's rare. It's very rare. I like never see it. None of us like ever really see that kind of, you know, heroism with the people that have power, but maybe it is. Maybe you do see it. So Moon goes into Virgo later in the afternoon. And now remember, this is all at critical mass, all of the situations, all of these themes. And so we're still going to be shedding some of this stuff, shedding specifically the things that are holding you back. And, you know, so for me, I'm going to be using the first half of Monday to just be very surgical and like analyzing my mistakes and just really like, I hate making mistakes. You guys have no idea like how I'm a Capricorn. All my Capricorns know it, but I can't stand it. And they always just feel so obvious, but they were out, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be like freaking Blues Cluesing it. But anyway, because that's something that, you know, take what you're seeing about yourself, take what you're seeing about another person, take what you're seeing about a situation or a dynamic, and, you know, really mine that experience. Because I'm telling you guys, once you learn it, it goes away. That issue goes away. If you change, if you make it right, if you grow, then otherwise you just keep hitting the hot stove. And who wants to do that? Who wants to do that? Okay, so letting go and shedding things that are holding you back. So the critical eye of Virgo comes in handy here, because Virgo is going to make sure that you're very precise, that you're doing it really, really well. So take the criticism, take the detail-oriented stuff. Hopefully it's like a nice environment. Hopefully there's good people around you, but, you know, we can't always, you know, hopefully. And then you just don't want to get like lost in the details of being super like overtly critical and over criticizing something. So try to strive for some kind of balance there. Or if someone's like just not being critical enough, and they should, so, you know, hopefully, you know, people are not projecting criticism onto someone else or something else, instead of taking accountability, instead of owning their own mistakes, instead of looking at themselves. You know, you want that balance, okay? So Monday is all about respect, self-respect, and respecting others, and kind and gentle communication. Okay, on Tuesday, February the 7th, I'm calling this day fresh air. Try if you can to go out and get some fresh air. We have that moon in Virgo squaring over to Mars in Gemini. Mercury finally leaves the shadow. You guys, this is such a big deal. It's a big deal. We also have Venus in Pisces sextiling Uranus in Taurus, and then that Virgo moon will also oppose Venus in Pisces. Early in the week, it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday that Saturn will leave the shadow that they were in for their retrograde. So the beginning of the week really is so much wrapping up of things and integrating what we've learned so that we can break new ground, and we have a really good knowledge and we have a really good perspective of how to do that and with whom we want there with us to do that. So fresh air on Tuesday, that moon squaring over to Mars, that's going to be a little bit of temper. You know, it might be a little annoying or upsetting or busy and frustrating. You know, you might, if that's the case and you're just, it's just too much going on, you might need to take something off your plate. And that could be through an attitude change. That could be through tasking, taking some tasks off and, you know, handing that off for someone else to do. Mercury leaving the shadow, we're finally moving on psychologically and problem solving. This is going to be such a strong week for problem solving and communication, writing if you guys are writers. And, you know, Mercury coming out of the shadow, we're finally ready to, I would say, because we still haven't come into the conjunction with Pluto, it's like building, we're ready to give ourselves a total psychological perspective makeover. And it's going to have to do with the mental structures that we're building in our minds, but also it could be how we're exporting that, how we are, you know, projecting our thoughts and our mental structures into situations, how we see something working, how we see something going, how we see something being built. So this is a very architecting energy for Mercury this week. And we're finally, now this has been like a retrograde that, I'm not going to get into like the whole big history of this, but this has just been this has been something that we've had to go over a lot, and it's been a thing. So, you know, this is not something that you're totally unfamiliar with. Specifically, you can think back to around the middle to the end of December. What was going on? What were you really thinking about? What was taking place in your mind structurally? What were you sort of like building up in your mind? What were you really intensely thinking about? Maybe even worried about, maybe even concerned about, maybe what you were curious about, because that's going to move forward with new information, with new insight, maybe new conversations or new ideas about, you know, what those structures are going to look like possibly into the future. Now, Venus sextiling Uranus, that's very inspiring in terms of the aesthetics of it, the image, forming the, it's going to be sort of unusual. So the inspiration could definitely be a little bit different for you, because astrology is extremely subjective. So, you know, for instance, for me, when I got to like 10,000 subscribers, I slowed that down because I'm like an honest introvert, and I just didn't try to go online and be an online person. And so that, like, I wasn't prepared for it. And for me, that was like a lot. That was like going from being like an honest introvert to just having all these people like want to interact with me. That was really weird. So it took me years to get used to being on the internet and like the boundaries of what energies I share online and all that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that with absolutely everything in astrology. It's subjective, totally subjective. You know, so Capricorns and Aquariuses, not all of them are going to turn into millionaires when Pluto moves into Aquarius. Maybe a couple of them, but like it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna, so it's like astrology is extremely subjective. So, you know, this will be different for you. For us personally, this is going to feel like we're very inspired to do something different, to get out of our comfort zones. And that is where I was feeling like a lot more fresh air. Because I was kind of seeing that. I don't know if this is like bike riding or joy ride, where you drive with the windows are down. It's just like a lot of sunshine and fresh air. It's really nice. So it's a breath of fresh air. Okay, so, you know, if there are frustrating things, you know, you might just do better off going for a quick bike ride, or just walking around the neighborhood, or just getting some fresh air. Okay, for Tuesday. Now that the moon will oppose Venus as well, getting comfortable, enjoying life, you know, not getting upset over the little things, not letting little things bother you, and not getting lost in the details. So Tuesday is a great day for taking good care of yourself mentally, mental health, psychologically, through getting some fresh air, or, you know, really doing whatever that mental health break looks like for you. And, you know, having great boundaries with your social media, whatever that, how you, but I'm just getting like definitely fresh air though. Like, try to get outside. Okay. Wednesday. Okay, so now that we are in Wednesday, we have, I'm calling this day sharing the magic. So from, you know, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to the beginning, excuse me, to the middle of Wednesday, that's a lot of like full moon, critical mass, fullness, big emotions, and you've, guys, really following the heart. That hard part will be in the beginning of the week, where you got to really decide. You have to use your discernment, where am I done with this, or is this a good note that I'm getting from someone I respect? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hopefully you were able to hold the tension of all that, because when we get to Wednesday, you know, we have the moon in Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces and trining over to Mercury in Capricorn. And this is where things could take like a magical, beautiful, wonderful turn with good news and beautiful conversations and a lot of creativity and fun and magic in the air, and just really lovely connections being made, or, you know, an increase in how do I put this? Like having a great time with someone that you love, or just making plans for the future, or structuring something out together, or being really creative and imaginative together, or going to see an art show together, or, and I'm getting the togetherness because it's an opposition. Moon opposing Neptune is definitely two elements kind of coming together. So I would probably also plan a light schedule for Wednesday too. As the day kind of progresses, we're going to enter a different moon phase. So we're not going to be in the full moon anymore. We're going to be in the disseminating moon phase. So for the rest of the week, from the middle of, let's just say that from the middle of the week, middle of Wednesday onward, now it's time to share the harvest with others. So there may be, like a wanting to connect spiritually, emotionally, or creatively with others. And this will be very dependent on where it's like the harvest comes in. You get the harvest, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to the middle of Wednesday. That's your harvest. Now, based on what came in from your harvest, based on what came back in returns, because we're getting what we all reap what we sow. Okay, if you're alive, we're all learning lessons. We all have things that we're working on. So, every month there's a new moon where we're making new karma, and every month there's a full moon where we're getting what we've earned. So, based on what came back in returns, now it's time to share that with others and to decide where everything goes. So, some of this results in seeing maybe the true intentions of someone. This full moon could have brought something very ugly to the surface in some of your close relationships. This full moon could have, the blindsidedness, this could have brought out some kind of financial situation that works to your benefit and you're happy about it, or does not work to your benefit and you're freaking out about it. This could have brought something like a health issue that you were ignoring or that you were not taking good care of, and you're like, oh my God, now I'm really in deep with this, man. You know what I'm saying? So whatever happens to be for you, now you get to decide what you're going to keep, what you're going to use right now, what goes up for storage maybe, and what you're going to sell off. So you have the fullness, you have what you have, and now you're deciding, how you're going to use it or where it goes, or you're going to make your own decisions about this stuff. So that trine over to Mercury and Capricorn, I really like that. And in the opposition to Neptune and Pisces, that's really dreamy. That can be very romantic, or like I said, very spiritual, very creative. So whatever you do have, whatever you got out of it, or whatever you're able to salvage, or at least apologize for, or at least make the best of it, you'll be able to use that, like I said, because this is about breaking new ground. So you're getting like the fullness in the beginning of the week. You're getting what you've earned. We're reaping what we've sown, and then we make the most of it from there. And that's what you're going to be doing from the middle of Wednesday to the rest of the week. So, but this moon opposite Neptune is really like, there's going to be someone there, or there's going to be something there. There's going to be, guys, like that's another thing too. It's like, I was thinking about it, getting my groceries today, and like, because I like to do, I drove over, and I was thinking about this thing that I missed, you guys. Like, I was a fish out of water. I was so like, about it, like really looking at it like more and more and more, right? But I knew that I was going to put it in a script. Like, I'm going to put this in I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, this is, how I can write this up in a scene, So it's like, it's you make the best of it, and you have to do that. You have to make it right. You have to feel bad and make it right, and then you can do something creative with it if you want, if that's how you're inclined. But it's just very, you could be inspired. You can be inspired, whether that's fixing an estranged relationship, or getting creative about something, or creatively problem solving, or something like that. So that's what I like about Wednesday, is sharing the magic from the beginning of the week, from Sunday until the middle of Wednesday. That's going to be the strongest the full moon energy will be. Thursday, I'm calling best ideas only. Okay, because we have the moon that is now in Libra opposing Jupiter in Aries, and that moon in Libra is going to trine over to Mars in Gemini. So here's what I like about the opposition. I really love this day, except tuning into this, the moon opposing Jupiter. So moon in Libra, the circumstances, the emotional tone, it's a lot of decorum. It's really great for partnership. It really is. But like one-to-one partnership, okay? Jupiter in Aries is really strong for entrepreneurship and individuation and doing something on your own. Okay, now what does that mean to be an entrepreneur? What does that? It means success on your own terms. It's your labor and your ideas and your creativity and your hard work going to support your company, your thing, okay? Your visualization. It's not your hard work and labor and ideas and visionary ideas going to support somebody else's dream coming true. It's success on your own terms. That's entrepreneurship. So Jupiter in Aries is extremely entrepreneurial, and Jupiter itself alone is very lucky. But luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So make sure that you are either prepared or that you don't squander some kind of opportunity. And the only thing I'm not fond of with this is that I just hope there's not like a third wheel type of element to this, because this is really better for, you know, maybe it's like a double date of couples going together, or it's like a 1-to-1, you know, just try not to let any third elements or, you know, negative third party getting in or anything really bitter, because there could be an underlining theme to the week of like bitterness, and I'm going to get to that at the end of the week as we get there. So other than that, if you just keep it like a nice closed conversation, if you keep it a closed set, for instance, where it's like, unless you are directly involved in this, unless you are directly contributing, you don't really need to be here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But then the trine over to Mars is so great for strategizing. It's really great for idea sharing and motivating, and it's really sparkly. It's really sparkly. That's another great energy for architecting something mentally, but also architecting a relationship. So if you're making any relationship changes or adjustments or improvements or forging new relationships or strengthening bonds, that's really great for talking about the relationship itself and discussing and architecting the kind of changes you want to make, or just like how things are even gonna go or how things are going to be. So that's a good day for, and it looks like everyone's gonna like get along and everyone's going to be like on the same page essentially. On Friday the 10th of February, I'm calling this day a wake-up call, and that's the conjunction with Mercury and Pluto in Capricorn. Okay, so on one side there's corruption, flat out, plain and simple, super corruption. And think about how the beginning of the week went with you. Okay, how did that feel? How did that go? Were there any corrupt undertones? Were there any, you know, people bogarting for attention, or, you know, hogging the podium and not letting a marginalized group speak for themselves? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like how what environments and places are you in? Because this day on Friday could be a super big wake-up call. There could be like the law really coming down in a hard way. This is big, hard, difficult news being delivered. This is also like controlling someone's, what they wear, trying to control what they say, kind of trying to control someone's opinion about somebody else, trying to you know, be coercive and like mind controlling and stuff like that. Like, or, you know, this is bitter too. Super bitter. So if you guys have like any bitter people around you, they're gonna be, I'm just saying super they could be like spreading their bitter negativity or their judgmentalism or like what have you. Okay, now on the other side of this Mercury Pluto, so in your own life, there's going to be something that's dug up from the nooks and crannies of your subconscious mind that you're going to look at it and you're going to see it and go, oh my God, you know, but maybe not your subconscious mind. That's going to be more for Aquarius, Sun, and risings. For everybody else, it's going to be some other area of your life where there's going to be something like clear, like very like turning over a rock and all the little buggies and all the little creepy crawlies and stuff. You're going to really see something be unearthed or have to talk about something again. And, you know, it could be a big deal. It could be a really big deal. Pluto is about to enter the 29th degree of Capricorn, and that's when things are gonna, the really powerful things are gonna get even stronger and solidified, and then other things are gonna be burned down in that area of life. So, but on the other side of that, it could be super empowering. Your mind can go through a wonderful like watershed moment when you just like reprogram something in this area of your life, and in that area or that thing that you really care about can get really supercharged with power and support. So people will either act against themselves and like aid the corruption. And when I say that, I mean integrity. Capricorn rules integrity. Okay, so if you were able to start the week with respect, that's what I called Monday, all about respect, then there's a better chance that you're going to end the week feeling good about yourself, like feeling like you're doing it right, you know, and like just feeling better about it, because you want to respect yourself first, and you want to have integrity with yourself. Okay, like I said, confidence doesn't come from just being perfect all the time. Confidence comes from being able to roll with the punches of life, to being able to learn from your mistakes, and being able to live to die another day. You need some outlet. You need some, you know, me, it's writing. Maybe for you, it's dancing, and you need to just put it in your body and just move. Maybe for somebody else, it's painting, and you just need to like, poor Van Gogh. I'm thinking like Vincent Van Gogh. Oh my God. You know, but like whatever it is for you to just get it out, so that you don't hold the stress and then project it onto other people. So people will either act against themselves, and it's because their own compulsion, they cannot help themselves. They cannot stop themselves. They cannot control their behavior. They cannot control what they're saying. They cannot control their own energies, essentially. Okay. And they're going to self-destruct, and they're going to be, you know, acting against themselves and acting out of their own integrity. Or you'll be empowered. Like you can empower yourself and use your own power judiciously to create justice in your own world. And you do that by honoring your integrity, by respecting yourself. Because when you respect yourself, you can respect other people. When you're honest with yourself, you can be honest with other people. When you love yourself, you can then love other people. Okay? So if there's anyone that is being like super projecty, and they're like, you know, they're not taking good care of themselves, they don't know how to, this is like if someone's with someone that smokes cigarettes and they just like are on them to stop smoking cigarettes. That's a projection. They're trying to overcome something compulsive in themselves that they're not able to do, and they're not ready to face that yet. So they're just going to hound the other person about quitting smoking. Okay. It's can also be super negative. This would be like super negativity. It's gonna be like super bitter, and you know, people could try to share their bitter worldview with you and want you to just like, oh, I almost had it, not compliant. It's gonna bother me.
It's like 𝚃𝚑𝚎𝚎𝚅. 𝚃𝚑𝚎𝚅. Oh, this is bothering me so much. This is bothering me so much.
I can't believe I cannot find this word. It's going to bother me so much. Anyway, it's like a co-conspirator. Okay, I don't even remember what I was saying. I don't even remember what day we're in. Okay, so the wake-up call. So Mercury conjuncting Pluto. You're either going to be able to really finally exorcise the demon here and just purge something out of this area of your life, so that you can have a very powerful moment of communication or realization, or a very transformative moment for you on Friday. I really like the end of the week, actually. And this is like a big deal, like I said, because Pluto is about to enter the sign of Aquarius. March is really going to be breaking new ground, but these things have to happen immaterially first. They have to happen as thoughts and conversations and ideas before they are ground down into physical manifestation, and relationships can come together, and companies can be formed, and projects can be written down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's more of like a little bit more about, you know, what you're kind of leading into and what can be happening with Mercury Pluto. This is also going to be a big news day for, I'm not even getting into a world prediction. It's a little bit depressing. So anyway, yeah, expect some depressing wake-up call type of news globally on Friday the 10th, especially financially. So, but let's focus on the positive. So you can use this to create justice and integrity in your own life. Okay, you're going to have especially if you have anything at 28 degrees of Capricorn or anything aspect in that, you know, point in your chart. And, you know, Friday is going to be a really great day for making some big changes that you want to make, especially in terms of your relationship to power, your relationship to your own autonomy, your relationship to your own personal authority. When you're secure, all you care about is controlling yourself. You don't care about having to control anybody else. You don't worry about somebody else's opinion of somebody else. You don't worry about what someone else is going to do or not do because you're secure and you're okay. Okay, that's like codependent, when you're like scared and insecure and nervous about like what somebody else is doing or what somebody else isn't doing. You don't want to do that. You want to just focus on what you're in control of, which is you. When you're insecure, that's when people project and try to control other people. They try to control situations. They try to control outcomes. We all fall for it at some point, but we outgrow it if we learn from our mistakes and we're ready to do that. The only times we don't do that is when we're too compulsive. And if there's anyone around you, this is a good time to let them loose. This is a good time to, you know, if they have an ego issue, or if you were the authority in the beginning of the week and you tried to have an authoritative, you tried to check them and you tried to help them come into line, you tried to help them mature, and they just like rejected that, and they just rejected everything that you were saying, or don't argue the notes. Don't litigate the notes. If they litigated your notes, if they argued your feelings, okay, yeah, then Friday is going to go bad for them. But you just focus on you focus on your creations, you focus on your own thing, what you have, you know, what you're excited about. You know, I lick my wounds in private and I write a script about it. I write scenes. I write like it's free. It's free, and it's lovely, and it feels so good. So, you know, find something or get into something that is free. Okay, you guys know I have my poll over there. Dancing, it's free. Okay, put on some music, it's free. Find joy. Movies, that's what I was thinking of. Like, movies are free. Well, I'm sure you can watch a movie for free somehow. Oh my god, not like illegally or anything. Oh my god, let me just move on. So that's the wake-up call for Friday, is to basically just focus on, you know, just go with the changes. Okay, go with the changes. Change is the only constant, and just focus on controlling yourself. Otherwise, people can really undermine their own success. They could totally self-sabotage, and, you know, yikes. But on the other side of it, this can be super empowering. This can be so empowering. You can feel so validated and like vindicated, and you can feel really good, you know, because you're going to be feeling confident in you controlling your life, because you're controlling your response to life. Okay, so that's the reward of maturity, when you get to own your life and you take that kind of ownership in your life. So like I opened this video with, you know, just because I'm victimized a lot, there's a lot of misogyny in the world, there's a lot of racism in the world, it doesn't make me a victim. It doesn't make me the identity of a victim. And, you know, there's another thing too, specifically, so I was a latchkey kid growing up, so like a day orphan. My mother's father is an orphan, and my father's mother is an orphan. So there's just something I grew up with where I always go inward. And this is bad. This did turn into a problem in my life, and I needed a wake-up call moment in 2018, and I got it when I was doing board service. But like, it never occurs to me to go to someone else for help or like to ask anything. And I didn't even know that about myself. And I think it's because of how I grew up and because of like my grandparents being on both sides being orphans. But in 2018, I had an officer come to me and say, like, Natalie, like, why didn't you go to your leadership, or why didn't you ask any of your like contemporaries, like, why didn't you talk to us about this? And I had no answer. I did not know that I should have or that I was supposed to. It's like a thing that I have to rewire in my programming, that you just don't see it. It's your subconscious. You don't see it until someone like brings it up, you know, to show you. So if that happens this week, take it. Don't litigate the notes, because then you get to own that and you get to decide what happens next. You know, fixing it, working on that problem or that issue or that blind spot. Okay, so that Mercury Pluto is going to be pretty clear to all of us if there are any blind spots to take care of, and it'll also be clear to us if there are any really strong, empowering, you know, energies or conversations or concepts, or, you know, it could be super, super empowering on Friday, where, especially if this is like happening with another person, it's definitely like solo, but also if there's other people involved or another person involved, it can be super empowering if you're both like on the same level, and you're both self-possessed and you're both very competent, essentially. Then you can really, that's super empowering. It's exciting. That's cool. I like Friday a lot, but I like the intensity. I like to roll with it. So okay, let's move on. I'm so chatty today. Saturday. Okay, on Saturday, we're calling this Beware the Bitter. We have the moon in Libra trending over to Saturn in Aquarius, squaring over to Pluto in Capricorn, and then that moon's going to enter Scorpio, cross the south node, and then Mercury moves into Aquarius. So that moon in Libra trending over to Saturn in Aquarius is strengthening authentic connections. This is still like the last few weeks of Saturn in Aquarius is changing the tribes, okay? Very much changing the tribes. So this is good for strengthening the connections with those tribal members, you know, people in your family, people in your work situations, people in your, you know, whatever you're doing. So that's cool. But the square to Pluto does say that there could be controllingness in relationships. So you've got to be watchful for that. Relationships may need to go through growing pains this week. And like I said, if they survive the stress test with integrity, they'll make it and they'll come out stronger than before. If they're just trying to control each other and they're not taking personal responsibility and they're not prioritizing integrity as an individual, it's going to break, it's going to snap, it's just, or it's going to suffer, and you're going to martyr yourself for what, you know? So there's that. Now when the moon enters Scorpio and crosses the south node, this weekend that you're coming into, that's like, you want to, like, I've been saging so much. Beware the bitter. Beware of really like toxic, bitter, unhappy, blamey energy. Okay, instead of taking personal responsibility, people are gonna just pick someone to pick on. They're gonna pick somebody to hate. They're gonna pick someone to knock them down. They're gonna pick a politics or entertainment, or they're gonna, I don't know, they're gonna do something. They're gonna project it outward. That's my point here. So, you know, that's why I'm saying, like, you know, I'm gonna recommend writing and dancing, cooking, you know, just, or, you know, stuff. Find a way to channel that energy and to give yourself some self-love, and, you know, take good care of yourself and be responsible for taking care of yourself. Don't make it so that someone else is supposed to take care of your needs. No, it doesn't work that way. So, gosh, you know, Saturday could be difficult. That moon crossing the south node. Watch out for bitter, jealous saboteurs. Okay, this is like, this can come up in people, and it can come up compulsively. It depends on, like, if they care about self-mastery, if they care about being better. Because if they do, then they're going to be able to feel like that feeling come up, bitterness, jealousy, fear, paranoia, and they'll be able to at least try to alchemize it. They'll be able to try and transform it into something else or flush it out of their system. But if not, they might want to be bitter. They might want to be shitty. They might want to try to tear someone down, or they might want to complain. Okay. So, you know, if you have any feelings that come up, and this is going to be connected with some kind of dependency or codependency or some kind of fear coming up for you, it'll probably come up for everybody in different ways and shapes and forms, and it'll be up to you to recognize that feeling coming up so that you can alchemize it and let it go. Not make decisions on it, not have discussions on it with other people where you're projecting and getting into a fight, not to, you know, use it detrimentally or anything like that, but to alchemize it and to learn something about yourself, and to learn about something about yourself that you want to change, because you want to be empowered with your own energy. You don't want to be like the Godfather strings and just be run by these planets and just, you know, be victimized by. You could be, you know, people with the organized religion, it's like, you know, it doesn't matter if it's organized religion. You can pick anything to be victimized by. You can pick astrology to feel victimized by if people want to be a victim. You don't have to be that victim mentality and that victim identity. But if you want to, you will find a way to do that. You will find a way to blame the astrology, blame the planets. Oh, I didn't have, so it was Saturn that made me do it, or it was Mars that made me do it, you know. So yeah, I know I'm harsh. So take some responsibility for your own, you know, feelings that are coming up. That's all. That's all. So Saturday could be like a very flushing, purging type of a day. And, you know, if you're doing it really nicely, though, that opposition to the North Node in Taurus is going to be nice, because you'll be able to really see what you do have to let go of in order to get something you really want. Okay, and that's self-sufficiency, self-confidence, self-love, self-reliance, confidence in your skills, talents, and abilities, confidence in your sexuality, confidence in just who you are. And remember what I say, who you are is what you have. It's all you have. It's everything you have. Okay? Now, Mercury entering the sign of Aquarius. Get on board with the future or drown in the past. That's what I have written down. Everyone coexists on Earth, living totally different realities. And so this is really weird. Like, there's going to be people that are really living in the past, and like the old boys club, the old way of doing things, and it's really inappropriate, and we can all see it. Like, their subconscious is totally showing, but we choke it down, and, you know, but we see it. Everyone sees it. And then there's going to be other people living in the future and making the future, creating the future, and being ahead of the curve. So you get to choose. It's always true that we're all coexisting together and living in different realities, because we're all living in different attitudes with different beliefs about our lives and other people and the world and life itself. So that's always true. It's just the divide is going to get much more pronounced as time goes on, this year, next year. But it's really going to like split like March, April, May, and there's going to be people that don't come with, that don't make it, because they're holding on to the past. They want to hold on to the fear. They want to try to over control things and be manipulative and like whatever. So, you know, but beware the bitter people. Like, the bitterness is going to be so like the red flag. Okay. It's gonna be like that vibe. It's gonna be like just heavy, gross, right? You know, like, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm over it. Sunday, February the 12th. I'm calling accept it faster. Okay, so not only do we have that moon crossing the South Node, Mercury hitting Pluto on its way out the door to go into Aquarius, but we also have the quarter moon. We have the quarter moon in Scorpio, and that moon in Scorpio opposes Uranus and Taurus. Whew. The people that get left behind, it's going to be because they're not ready for the future. They're not ready. You cannot force yourself to be ready when it's the time, and you're not prepared, you're not ready. You can't cram for the test. So just care about yourself and your own, like, what you have like what you're in control of. That's what I mean. Like, just care about like what you can control and let other people make their decisions. Because people are gonna like cancel themselves out by being shitty, being bitter, by being manipulative, codependent, you know, and it's gonna be really like visible. Like they're gonna really out themselves. Okay, but that quarter moon, it's about finishing up. Oh, that's right. Okay, so we're the disseminating moon until we get to the quarter moon on Sunday. Now we're in the last quarter moon. It's about wrapping up your issues, wrapping up all the issues, letting it go, let it go, or stay bitter alone. I'm telling you guys, we're gonna live on the same planet, the same earth, and people are gonna be in different realities, and it's gonna feel sharper. It's gonna feel way sharper. Like that's why there's such it starts with a V. Man. Okay, well anyway, that's why there's a lot of hatred on the internet, and it's very, very, very extreme. And that's why there's a lot of hatefulness on the internet, because these are very extreme separations, okay? And the world and the circumstances in your life, and it's all of putting pressure on you to choose one side or the other side. Are you going to be confident in your own skills, talents, and abilities? Are you going to love yourself? Are you going to heal? Are you going to learn from your mistakes? Are you going to go for the gold here? Or are you going to be too afraid and stay the same and lie to yourself about it and blame other people and be super bitter about it? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting with this last quarter moon, is like, you're either going to let it go or you're going to stay bitter alone, and you're just going to like, you're going to have to find people and collaborate and, you know, merge and move and do all these things with other people that are in that vibration. So it's like people are going to get kind of shuffled around, and it's like musical chairs or something, you know? So the obstacles that come up over this weekend are going to be obstacles that are not, you don't tackle those obstacles like head on or take actions or call people. It's going to be something you've got to change inside of yourself. You've got to reconcile that internally. You have to practice acceptance. But it's just like with this quarter moon, you have to do it fast. You have to accept it faster. You have to let it go immediately. Drop it. No more passive aggressive, bitter bullshit. Okay, just drop it. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about like if there's like a rare unicorn person out there that has like a wonderful leader that like, you know, rah, you know, they're like the Robin Hood or the white knight in shining armor. That's our, you know, our white savior coming in. I'm joking. I'm laugh. Okay, laugh. It's a joke. If that person came through in the beginning of the week, then by the weekend, that could be so amazing, because this could be where that moon in Scorpio opposing Uranus and Taurus, it's like closing out old business and like laying down the law in a very elevating type of a way, where they, like I said, they're using their power judiciously, and they're creating this, whether it's a company, whether it's an environment, whether it's a family life or a home or whatever it happens to be, they're laying the groundwork, and they're laying the groundwork partly on what this isn't. Okay, this isn't, you know, a place of passive aggressive bullshit. Okay, this isn't a place, you know what I'm saying? Like there might be an establishment, some foundation that's being laid, and it's closing out old business by defining what this isn't and making like kind of like a strong proclamation that might harken to the full moon of the previous weekend, saying we're elevating, okay, our standards of behavior or communication with each other, or I don't know, time management with the family, or, you know, dividing up responsibilities in the household, like whatever this happens to be. But it's about the purging and what we're letting go of, and what's not part of this anymore. So it could be a very cathartic, fleshy type of weekend. If anyone has any like constipation issues, you're definitely gonna poop on the full moon Sunday or Monday, or you're definitely gonna poop definitely over the weekend, Saturday the 11th and 12th. Scorpio rules that stuff. Scorpio is about like pooping and like expelling, you know, like just getting it, all the grossies out, you know? So it's like this, that could be such an intervention weekend where it's like, is your chance, you know, surprise. Can you let it all go? Can you sit there when everyone fucking around you reads their letter and tells you, oh my God, does that sound terrible or what? I'm so glad I'm proactive. But you know, could you handle it? Like, that could totally, that'd be hilarious. Let me know if that happens. I mean, maybe not for you if you're going through it. I love that show. Anyway, and that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Let's move. Okay, we're gonna do such a much shorter tarot reading because I ate up all of this time talking about the astrology. So tell us the message, short and sweet. What do my people need to know about this week ahead? Shouldn't light this. Hold on. I totally forgot to light this frankincense, you guys. I haven't been showering with the light on for like a couple of years now because the second light in my bathroom, it turns on this fan and it's just too loud. So I've been taking showers in the dark and I just started to sage in the shower. Guys, it's like a spa experience. It's like magical and wonderful. Okay, let me get a little bit closer. Okay, speaking of closer, let's talk about far away. I'm getting 3 of Wands to start. We're only going to do 3 positions. 3 of Wands. So these are great expectations. You know, so this person has sent out the ships. They sent out the ships and they have a pretty good idea what's going to come back. So there's some pretty good expectations that you've got. You can pretty much rely on that. Like whatever you're expecting, yeah. 8 of Cups, so moving on from something. This is moving on from something that's good, but it's not great. It's not like a wish fulfillment. It's something that's like, oh, this is nice, you know, that's cool. So you've left something behind, or you're going to be leaving something behind this week that, like I said, it's okay, it's good, but it's not a wish coming true. It's not like making my heart beat, okay? This 8 of Cups, you're leaving something not because you're jonesing to leave something behind. You're leaving something behind because your heart is pulling you forward. Okay? Oh, you have the Wheel of Fortune and the 2 of Cups. Oh, I like this. It's very exciting. So there's a relationship that's going to undergo a massive turnaround, like a really big shift. So whatever it looks like now, it'll change. It won't look the same. And it might be because it's evolving and it's growing into something else or something totally different. Oh, I like it. It's really like camaraderie, like best friend type energy, you know, comradeship. Oh, we have the 10 of Cups, bottom of the deck, and the Ace of Cups, and the Hermit. I love it, you guys. I love it. Love it. Okay, so overall for this week, oh, that's like very peaceful. There's at least one relationship this week that is going to just really stand out. It's going to feel really lovely. You're going to feel like you can very much connect with this person. And this could even be that you're in business with this person and you guys have a product that goes out and maybe it's a launch and then maybe it does really well. And it affords you an ability to move on to something that is like way more exciting for you. That 3 of Wands is that's the entrepreneurial, financial, business success card, and it comes after the 2 of Wands. The 2 of Wands is about finding partnership. So you already found someone, you already found a partner, or you already have a partner. And now it's about the product. It's about the product or the service. And the great expectation. Tell me about the Three of Wands, please. Ooh. Oh, the I love the Eight of Pentacles. This is about standards, really high standards in your work and what you're doing in your output. So you can expect good things because of the quality of the work, because of what you've done, because of, like, it speaks for itself. Let it speak for you. Let it speak for you. Good work speaks for itself. I like it. All right, let's take a look at the Eight of Cups. Ooh. Wow. Okay, so someone will be happy. You're going to be happy that you're leaving, that you're moving on to something, but somebody around you is going to be missing you. Someone around you is going to, you're going to break the news to someone and they're just going to miss you. They're going to feel like Samwise Gamgee. Frodo, don't go, I cannot follow. They're going to be like, we love us some Samwise, okay? But this is a little dramatic. This is a little bit like, looking at and knowing what the astrology is this week, be gentle and kind, always be gentle and kind. But like I said, and I think last week's video, don't own and take responsibility for anybody else's feelings. Okay, that's not what this full moon's about. This is not about like when I took care of some things today, with my doing my things, and with my little mistake, it wasn't about me, it was about fixing it. Okay, Jack Skellington lamented when he had to realize what he did, but he didn't go to Sandy Claus and like make it all about Jack. No, he went to Oogie Boogie, he saved Sally, he got him to save Sandy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh my God, that's another thing that we choke ourselves. We just we choke it down when people are like making something all about them, and it really should be about the common goal or the topic or the task at hand. And guys, there's a class I took last year, and it was so refreshing because I found someone. By the grace of God, I Forrest Gumped my way into this course, and someone was so just giving me what I needed to know, and that's it. I still watch those videos like all the time. But it was so refreshing, and I was like, oh my God, that's what I needed. That's it. He didn't like pontificating about the thing. It wasn't all about his ego. It wasn't like, he just gave me what I needed, straightforward. And that is, to get what you need, set me free, set my soul on fire. That was actually my triple conjunction at the end of last summer. So, and that actually has something to do with the full moon that happened over the weekend, which I got another, it was a very entertainment type of weekend for me personally, this full moon in Leo. So I did a really great, I got on a couple of great, things going on there, but I recently found this story that I broke, and I'm going to get back into it. So it's a little bit more like creatively focused for me, but still, it's like just what you need, get what you need. This person, like, don't let this person make something all about themselves, okay? And be really wary of that this week, okay? If you're apologizing to somebody, if you are owning a mistake that you made, it's not about you. It ain't about you. It's about apologizing. Anyway, let me move on because I feel like, okay, let's move on. What's the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Cups? Is that something? It's all these cups. Okay, you got the Seven, the Page, and the Nine of Cups. This is very emotional. This is very emotionally, like, this is the wish come true. So there's going to be a very fortunate turn for a relationship that it's really exciting. It's really fun. It's a wish coming true. and it's like endless possibilities. Here's the thing. You really care about your relationships and your bonds, because if there's a strong enough bond, you can do anything. You can build anything on the strength of that bond. You can build a family, you can build a company, you can build a creative project. But that foundation is the strength of that relationship. And the Saturn in Aquarius is stress testing the strength of these bonds in our groups and associations, and the people that we choose to be friends with, the people that we choose to be aligned with because of a shared sense of humanity. Maybe you don't really share the same sense of humanity. Maybe you don't really agree on certain things, or maybe you don't really feel, but you'll know. You've been learning since December 2020, and we're just getting like such the integrity stress test for the next couple weeks until March. So that looks really great. This all looks really great. Thank you for giving me a great, easy, quick energy to pop in and out of. All right, let's take a look. Any guidance? Any fuzz guidance? Ooh. You have faith in your dreams, okay? Have faith in your dreams. Waxing crescent moon energy. Something could be starting up this week. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. So communication is really important this week, because this whole week builds. Mercury gets out of shadow in the beginning of the week and builds toward a conjunction with Pluto by the end of the week. Day to day, things can change. Just stay in your integrity, truth, love, and integrity. That's why our manifesto is so short. So you remember it. Under stress, truth, love, integrity. Oh, and nothing is yet set in stone. So do not be discouraged. Okay, do not be discouraged. It's not, things are still in flux. Things are still, figuring themselves out. So don't be discouraged, okay? Nothing's yet set in stone. So for some of you, a new romantic cycle begins. Look at that. Not my fingers, but the card. A new romantic cycle begins for some of you. So for some of you, this is going to be some kind of relationship that takes a turn that way. But this can also be like creative as well. Okay. Okay. Love you guys. This was super long. Take care. Until next time, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Mwah.